We're late again.
No, we're not late. We started.
We're late again. Treevoid.
No, see, we're good.
At this
on
rate,
time.
Pot is gonna unfollow us. You know how he feels about being punctual.
He's a very punctual intern. He doesn't like us being late for anything. But we are live.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Honkai 1.4 retrospective and 1.5 first impressions stream. We are, yeah. I think this is how we're gonna do them moving forward, right, Lion? I think that was your preference as well.
I think so. Obviously, the first one's gonna feel a little weird, but moving forward, what we'll do is at the start of a new patch, we can talk about all the stuff that happened in the previous one, as well as all the stuff we're looking forward to in the current one, versus kind of waiting until the end of, patch 1.4 or 1.5 or, whatever, and then just talking about that particular patch. Especially if it's, maybe a little less exciting, less stuff going on or whatever. We still have the new stuff that's coming that we're looking forward to that we can, discuss and be excited about.
Yeah. So I unfortunately got stuck in a cutscene before we started the stream. So this is part of the event. It's not like super far into the event. It's sort of after you do the very first quest within the event. You bring Jingu on here to talk to the demon that's possessed this child, and you do a little duel here where you get to also do a trial for Hanya, which was pretty interesting. So we can discuss her a little bit more as we go into the stream.
We were sealed away for 1,000 years.
But I won't go into the lore too much of what happened because I know not everyone's gotten around to it yet. But this is the Halloween patch in November, so it's a little bit late, but it's fine. We get to learn more about Ho-Ho.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's like, why did we get the Halloween event starting in mid-November? I feel like there was a mistake.
Yeah, I feel like the Pokemon event in 1.4 is sort of like time. Like, it's not seasonal in any way. Actually, if anything, it was in Bellabog, which would have been more fitting for the November-December time frame than this Halloween themed patch. So really, I feel like the events of 1.4 and 1.5 should have been switched around. But otherwise, I guess it's fine.
I mean, if you think about it, here in America, next week is Thanksgiving, which, we look back and we think about, all the things that have happened and all the things that we're thankful for and, family and togetherness and all that, stuff, right? Which can be, spending time with your family can be a very frightening thing for some people, like myself. It's terrifying. It's a traumatic experience.
Wow, talk about shifting gears in a big hurry. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate. I would just be spending time at home with my regular at-home family. So no extended family for Thanksgiving. But we'll see my parents at Christmas.
That's very nice. Yeah, it keeps it calm. Canadian Thanksgiving is in October, so it's before Halloween for us. So no big events here other than Remembrance Day, which I think is like your Veterans Day in the States. Right?
Yeah, same timing too. Yeah. Like I know that I had Friday off of work for Veterans Day, and I think.
For us it was Monday, like this Monday. In my province, it's not a holiday. It's like a bank holiday, but that's when it is. So that lines up. Yeah, we don't have anything. I guess you guys don't have anything equivalent to our Thanksgiving, like in that time slot. Do you have any public holidays in October?
We do. Technically, we have, depending on where you are, we refer to it as Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh, okay.
And it really falls around the same time as Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I've never had like a day off or anything for it. That's not. It's a pretty normal day here. It's not like a full-on holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
The banks are closed, and that's about it.
Yeah. I hate bank holidays because it just gets in your way. Like,
Banks
You
will
just
take
don't-
just about.
yeah, I know they take
excuse
every day off.
to
It's
close.
like I wish I worked for the bank. It would be
National
great.
Ice Cream Day.
Yeah.
We got to close.
I mean, for what it's worth, I think everyone should close for National Ice Cream
Yeah,
Day. Right?
that would be a
Get
great
out there
day.
and get you some ice cream.
But here we are with 1.5
What are you doing here,
with
Treewood?
Halloween. So I've been very indecisive about if I'm going to pull for Ho Ho or not. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Ho Ho.
Hua, hua.
Hue
Hua,
Hue.
hua,
Hue Hue.
hua,
Okay.
hua.
Okay. Hua Hua. I'm trying. I'm not. I'm not doing that on purpose. I am trying. I'm just not very good at these.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm also really bad
Yeah.
at these pronunciations, but I've heard this one a few times. Hua hua.
So I am 41 pulls into my pity. So I went very deep for specifically E4 Gwen hyphen, and I was not successful.
Uh-oh.
Along the way, I did manage to grab. Here we go. Let's go to my characters. Let's see. I did manage to grab an E2 Topaz. This was not what I wanted. Like, I'm not mad at having an E2 Topaz, but I just wanted an E4 Gwen hyphen, and they decided that I'm not worthy. I will be stuck with E3 until whenever she reruns or I get her on an off banner. Maybe I'll get it right now, just to spite
Absolutely
me.
brutal.
Yeah. Like, how
That
do you
would
get an E2 before you get an E4 of a 4-star? Like, come on.
I still go back to Genshin, the story of the player who got E6 Wanderer and still only had E5 Fires up.
That, I think, my soul would be crushed if that was the
Like
case.
I can't even imagine how rough that must be.
Sounds
But
like
let
it's
that,
time to pull for Ito.
But let that be a lesson to everyone.
Yeah,
don't go
don't-
chasing 4 stars.
Yeah, it's a curse. It's
Don't
just
go
like
chasing 4 stars.
yeah, just like when you're pulling on the weapon banner because you want one Zyphos Moonlight Blade, and you went and you get both of the featured 5 stars and not one Zyphos, and you just
At least you got
Wither
the
away.
featured, and you didn't get like a Skyward Blade or
yeah.
something.
Oh,
I mean-
you get that along the way too. Don't worry.
I mean, that just means you have to keep pulling Treewood.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got to get the refines, right?
Hello, Cell, who's ready to get for? Oh man, yeah. Well, this. So, the reason why I was indecisive is because I'm very interested in the visual design of Doctor Ratio, and
The shocker of the century.
I know, right? And Ruan May, I think, is the other featured unit that they drip marketed. The Harmony unit, and if the Harmony unit is like on the level of, let's say, Bronya, or slightly better, slightly worse, I think that's going to be a cracked unit. So I'm very interested in the 1.6 units, and I'm not very interested in the preview that they gave of Argenti. He seems fine. He has good visual flair, but his gameplay doesn't seem very interesting to me. Meanwhile,
He looks like another backloaded Erudition.
yeah,
which
which is
I don't
What about-
need another one of those.
yeah.
About his other game, Treewood.
His other game? What?
Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
What is the reference? Is this a Himiko reference?
No.
Is it a Diluc reference?
No.
I don't.
You're overthinking this.
What?
Look at Argenti. How
Okay.
does that make you feel?
He has red long hair. I'm not crazy about his design either. Honestly, I'm not a big Argenti.
Gasp.
Yeah. Like I don't like the whole like, oh, I'm
Get
a
your
knight.
torches and
Yeah,
pitchforks, guys.
yeah. I'm
Get ready
a
to
Doctor
crucify
Ratio is more
Treevoid.
my style. Um,
He's
yeah,
very Argenti is very, very pretty.
yeah. That's fine. It's just he's not really. I'm not very interested in his design at all.
Treevoid has a type.
Yeah, I have a type.
I think that's the words you're looking for.
Yeah, like if you look at
Treevoid
like
has a type.
Risley from Genshin or like Alhaitham, which is basically Doctor Ratio's design. Like it's just a different
So-
colored wig.
So here's my question then. If Argenti is I still don't know where we decided, where we landed on this classification, but if he's a twunk,
I think more
What
like
does
towards
that-
the hug side, but yeah, that's true. Yeah,
what does that make Dragon Dan?
Dragon Dan is just a twink. Dragon Dan has no meat on his bones. He is very thin.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah,
I feel woefully undereducated to discuss
Yeah, so
this
do I.
aspect.
I'm
It's fine. It's
I'm
right.
I'm making it up as I go.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
but
So-
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
This is the part where Treevoid pulls, and
Yes.
we talk about Hua Hua
Yeah.
because, I am also waffling on pulling.
Oh
this
well,
camera.
okay.
You see how that works?
It's going to be a
You
short
see how
pull
it works?
session.
Bye, Luke. Bye, Luke.
So this is
Bye,
not
Luke.
guaranteed. It could be either. It could be an off banner, which I'd be very sad about.
I mean, look at it this way. Congratulate. It's early.
Yeah, it
Early
is. It is
early.
early. Yeah,
We take every early one.
That
we
is very true.
yeah.
take every early one we get.
Yeah. You know what? I'll be happy with a Gwyn hyphen. You know, as the 4-star. Wow,
And
this
that's
is.
your 5 stars, Gwynnifin.
Hey, there we go.
Congratulations. Okay.
Can we get a back to back?
Yeah, back to back,
This
please.
is-
Come on.
This is exciting. I
Oh.
did see somebody earlier with a back-to-back. I did see a back-to-back happen today. In fact, the person who did it got so incredibly lucky that they got a Bronya on their first 10 pull, and then did 3 more 10 pulls, and the third 10 pull after getting Bronya was a double Hua Hua.
Wow, that's okay. That's
Which,
very lucky.
I mean, that's winning the day.
yeah.
right?
Like
mean,
I don't think
that's-
I'm ever gonna beat my Genshin luck when I got 2 Risleys in the same multi.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think like I'm forever done with Genshin luck.
So this is exciting. I'm happy for you, but I'm really looking forward to talking about this character because I
Yes.
actually think that Hua Hua, for a fair number of people, is probably what I would call the first true luxury unit that has been put out in Star Rail.
I would agree with that.
So I'm interested in what you mean by luxury.
So I think,
Oh no.
I think she's incredibly strong, and I think her showcase does a really awful job. of
It's a terrible
showcasing her
showcase.
strength. It's just an awful showcase. Pella and physical main character is just absolutely brutal.
If you've done the Ho Ho showcase, do not let that be your final
awful.
opinion on her.
It's truly an
yeah.
awful way to showcase her.
It's like
So,
Pella is a unit who has no energy issues, and physical MC is the worst unit in the game. So why are they using these 2 issues to showcase her?
They really uninspired demo there. So I'll talk a bit about the luxury thing. I have a ton to say about this character. I'm really interested in her kit. I really think she went 12. But the reason I say luxury is this. If you have even one of Locha Fushuan today, you don't need, and let's say this: you have one of those, and you have a Bailu or a Japard. You don't need another solo sustain at the moment, right? There is, and especially if you have both Fushuan and Locha, as I do, it is absolutely a luxury pickup. There is no reason to take her over those other 2 except for interesting gameplay. And so I think because she's our third limited sustain unit, I think she ends up in this bucket where I say it's a real luxury to have her. But I have some notes on her design as well that we can talk about in a little while that I think, I'll say this. Her release and her kit, I think, is maybe one of the best examples of how the Star Rail team is really knocking kit design out of the park. I'm really impressed with what they did with the kit.
Yeah, I really like her. I mean, her kit is the exclusive reason why I pulled her. And I like it quite a bit too. I guess just like we'll do a quick overview of it for people who aren't aware. The way her skill works is it provides a healing buff. So it initially provides healing to a target and the two adjacent allies for slightly less healing. And then it creates a buff on the field whenever a character takes an action or uses their ultimate, they get a heal. And that heal also has a cleanse. So you can get up to 6 cleanses per skill use. But the healing is active until she's taken 2 turns. The field that she provides is 2 of her turns. And then her ultimate provides your party energy. It's a percentage of their maximum energy. It's not a flat energy boost like Tingyun's. And it also provides them with an attack boost. So she is like a more aggressive healer. I would sort of like put her more in the... She's like a hybrid between abundance and harmony, as opposed to strictly providing healing, which is more of what Luocha does pre-Eidolons. So the reason why I picked her up is because she is doing more than just being a healer, which is sort of where Luocha is. Like, while not on the same path, Fushuan is doing more than just tanking, like Gepard does. She's also providing you with a crit rate buff. So I'm looking at the point where I'm at in the game. Like, my characters aren't really dying. I'm not worried about survivability. So I don't need the extra survivability that, let's say, Luocha provides. I can go for a more aggressive healer in Woho, who's getting me to kill things faster.
And I think the interesting thing is it's hard for me to say, aside from Luocha giving the incredibly easy gameplay of he just heals because he exists, right? It's hard to really necessarily say that she's going to be worse at sustaining the team than Luocha. But the interesting thing to me is actually, and I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit about Hanya, because now we've had the opportunity to see her kit in this new event. And we'll get to that in a bit. But, really looking at the trade-offs in the kit, I think, is what's really interesting to me. So Luocha is 100% skill point positive, right? He is basically always going to basic attack unless you have an emergency need for a heal, but more likely an emergency need for a cleanse.
Yeah.
So you're talking about full skill point positivity. But he brings no utility, right? He's just that healer. That's what he does. He heals the team. Fushuan trades off some of that skill point positivity. She's still skill point positive, but what you get in exchange is you get that crit rate buff, which is in and of itself pretty powerful. And now if you look at Huahua, you've got a situation where to maximize the uptime on her full healing capacity, she's skill point neutral, right? It's really a skill point neutral setup for her.
Mm-hmm.
But you get energy, which is the most valuable resource maybe for the team to get up with a buff. And you get the attack buff that she provides the team. And so I love, when I talk about the kit design, it's not just her kit in isolation, but it is the way the kits are expressed against each other as well. You can choose to take the extra skill points as your utility, or you can choose to take these buffs as your utility, and each one has their own value that they bring to the table. And I think that's really cool when you have someone like Imbiber Lune, who really wants those skill points, versus someone like Blade, who has very little need for skill points at all, right? And one of the few anti-synergies between Blade and Locha is that Locha is just feeding skill points to someone who doesn't need them. And so I think it's really interesting how Huahua might slot into that. Of course, the attack buff largely goes to waste on Blade, so maybe Jinglu is a better example there. But the idea here is that the synergies and the way that they're making trade-offs within character kits, really exciting for team building.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't like with respect to her energy, or not with her SP like positivity. It is true that you do need to go neutral if you want maximum uptime, but I don't think it's necessary to do that. Like I think you could go SP positive with her.
I agree.
Yeah,
and I agree completely.
Not rely on that.
Her skill is so powerful, which means, you have that flexibility. Let that field be down for a little bit, and her skill really has the capacity to bring your team back from, a sub 50% state. And so, while to maximize her ability to sustain, you want to keep the field up, you definitely don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I also think like she's a great support for like dot teams, for example, because she's providing that attack buff, let's say over Fushuan, who's providing crit rate, which is not super useful for dot teams. So she also feels like a great, like the ideal healer in those compositions as well, which I use quite a bit. So I'm really interested in her kit. Now, are there going to be times where I don't use her over Luocha? For sure. Like when I'm running my Topaz, Clara follow-up teams, Luocha is like tied to Clara. He's never coming off because the way the off-turn healing works is like so incredible between Clara, the synergy between Clara and Luocha. I just love it way too much. Yeah, exactly. And when you're feeding the alt energy to Kafka, that also helps her a lot because her ultimate is huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So she's not. It's not only the attack buff, but also the energy. So yeah, I'm really interested.
Sinewave, how do you feel about those things? Also, welcome.
Oh, he's here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try not to sound disappointed.
No, I need to update the overlay, so I wanted to make sure he's really here. Okay, 1 second. Go ahead, Sign.
Yeah, I think that that never mind. I might get accused for hating women again.
Hey, don't steal Treevoid's bit.
It's not a bit because it's not true.
It's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit. Well, are you saying it's not a bit, or are you saying it's for shoot? What are you trying to say here?
No, it's not a bit because it's not true. It's just I think I have more limited 5-star female characters than male characters at this point.
That's because there've been more limited.
Yeah, there's
female characters.
just about to say.
Well, I mean, I skipped Blade, so he was male, and I skipped him, and I skipped Jing Liu. Yeah. I think I'm just skipping everyone of that group aside from Dan.
And
he's been deleted from my memory. I forget he exists.
Damn, that's sad, bro.
It is.
I think.
I don't hate the ladies.
I think that. Yeah, I think that their way of power creeping, I guess, quote unquote, like this. I think it's. I don't know how much I would feel about it that they're doing this sort of power creep where they're trying to, combine certain utilities with each other. Because they are trying to power creep stuff. Naturally, this is a gacha, they're gonna do that. But I don't see the reason as of now yet to pull for Huo. I guess it's like a thing where you kind of want to split your pulls apart, I guess, if you want maximum returns and you don't just want to pull like
Well,
consecutively. I
like I
don't
was
know. I
saying
don't know anything
earlier,
about it.
I think this is why I say she's really luxury, right? I mean, if you have your sustain covered, like if you're, the reality is if you're clearing MOC 10, basically any unit at this point is a luxury unit. But I think, with right now the meta is solo sustain, and it remains to be seen whether the new modes, the pure fiction mode or the MOC 11 and 12 is going to change that. I'm not sure that they are, but if they do, then maybe we'll be saying something different. But with the meta right now being for solo sustain, we've got several units in the game, both standard and limited units, including 4-star units that are capable of being solo sustain. So to pull for a 5-star abundance at this point, I think you have to load their kit. Otherwise, what is even the point? I mean, if all she did was heal, if she was lacking the buffs that she brings to the team, there is no reason to pull her if you have Luochon.
Yeah, like even if she was a better, like an objectively better healer than Luocha, is that even a reason to pull? Because it's not like you need the healing on top of what he's doing anyways, right? Like they need to go in a different direction than just their raw defensiveness at this point in the game. Again, as you said, like there's MLC 11 and 12 coming, so that could potentially push up our need or desire for more defensive units. But like at the moment, there's lots of people who are either doing 0 cycles or 1 cycles. And if you're killing the enemies before they act, then you don't need the defensive utility, right? So if you're getting an offensive defensive unit, like that's just pushing more in that direction. So I'm kind of, this is where I'm at in the game, and just with my account where I want to lean more into like lean off of my defensive and lean more into going full offense without completely removing a sustainer like a lot of the 0 cycle teams do, where they, let's say, like they use a Bronya, Pella, Jing Liu, and I don't
Ting
actually
Yun,
know, and
yeah.
Ting Yun, yeah. So like I'm too afraid to go that far in that direction. So I think like Huo is like a balancing line on that, or like walking that tightrope there.
That being said, I think that Nolf does have a good point, because, unless you're trying to be on the bleeding edge of, memory of chaos, low cycle clearing and stuff, you really don't need to pivot to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't.
And so,
you don't need that.
and so it is. She is very, very much a luxury, because as long as you have one of these other, really good solo sustained characters, there's not any incentive other than literally what you're describing, to do that. Whether it's her kit design, which is very good, or you want the extra option that will allow you to experiment with other teams and things like that. All of which are totally fair points.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing to me is her being an energy battery, because that provides, in theory, more more different team compositions, and that's why I pulled Topaz. That's why I pulled Kafka, because that's what I'm more interested in than just raw damage, which is why I did not pull Jing Liu. Right, like I pulled Dan.
Says the person running Fancy Dan.
Because I really like Dan's character. Yeah. Like, I'm not never gonna pull those, but it's more if they like jive with my character. Like I think me and Lion have had this discussion quite a bit, but like in terms of character strength, I think Jing Liu outperforms Daniel. And so like if I was just working on a meta perspective, I would have also pulled Jing Liu, but I'm not quite interested in that. I'm more interested in a variety of different team options and play styles.
But I think it's really fantastic that we're hitting a point where, you know, Dan and Locha work well together because Dan really wants all those skill points.
Yeah.
Again, Jing Liu does not want those skill points. They're largely irrelevant to her setup, especially when, you know, and we've already seen some folks posting videos about this, and I'm admittedly kind of excited to try it myself, where you're pairing Huahua and Tingyu and leveraging them to effectively keep Jinglu in her state longer than she would be otherwise by getting more ultimates. And I mean, she's already oppressively strong, but if you really take away her only downside, it's pretty wild.
I mean, I guess it's also. Oh, never mind.
No,
you
go ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's also kind of. I don't know if you call this interesting, but the sustain unit is usually your flex slot anyway. So you might not even see the. I mean, you're not building Huo around. Like, you're not putting DPSs around Huo. What's more likely to happen is that you're putting Huo as a flex slot for your DPS rather than the other way around, right?
Yeah, in some, like, I feel like if you're very specific about your energy tuning, you might be like specific about that, but otherwise, yeah, I'd agree. Like, there's plenty of times where I'll just be like, I put Fushuan in this team, so Luoch is going to go in the other, without caring too much about who went where.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
I think it kind of depends.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's not a super long thought. It's just, I think it just kind of depends on, you know, who your DPS is, who your sustain character is. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I generally fall where Treevoid does, which is I need the sustain on the team. This DPS works better with this type of sustain, right? And again, this is where the skill point thing, I think the skill point economy that I was talking about earlier really comes in. That can be really valuable, or it can be really not valuable. And it's another angle that we can use to make decisions.
I can't believe you've had Huahua for like 15 to 20 minutes and you still haven't maxed her out yet.
I know, right? Yeah, I didn't think I would get her, honestly. I thought I was going to get an offer. Yeah, literally the first pull. You don't know.
What are you? Yeah. Are you not gonna do? You're not gonna S1 Dr. Ratio? What happened?
I spent 10 pulls. Okay, so it's not like I really went very deep in on the banner.
I did kind of railroad him to it. I kind of was like, so you're gonna pull now, and I think he felt compelled.
Yeah,
we have a question.
I thought it would be better content than
we have a question in the chat.
So you got manipulated. I see.
I don't have all the healers. Should I get her? You know, what it comes down to for me, I'll give my answer, because I'm just like that. I'll just jump in. What it comes down to for me is, are you clearing MOC 10? Right? Like, do you have the sustain you need to clear MOC 10? And then it's not a question of whether you have all the healers. It's a question of, do you want her or not? Right? Like, do you want that character on your account? If you're not clearing MOC 10, and it's because you're lacking the sustain to clear MOC 10, then, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. She's 100% worth it. Her utility is fantastic. The buff she's going to offer the team, in addition to being capable to solo sustain, it's a no-brainer if you're not there yet. But I think having all the healers is not... That's not the thing. It's, are you able to clear the content with the units you have?
Well,
this particular...
I think it depends on your playstyle, right? Like, what if you want to catch them all, right?
I was going to say, this particular chatter, hi Mark, is a well-known, well-documented god gamer. So it's whether or not he's able to clear Memory of Chaos. I mean, it's a given. It should be
I will
question.
present. I will present this argument that you should pull Woho if you're lacking sustain. What if you pull the next?
damage.
Okay, are we gonna discuss that? We're gonna pull the next banner, which is Silver Wolf with links. I feel like that's, uh, I don't know.
Oh yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like Lynx is great for sure. I have no issues with Lynx. She can definitely be a solo sustainer, but I think specifically the value of Silver Wolf is starting to depreciate. If you're a longer term player, yes, this
Yeah, I mean-
banner is terrible. The 4-stars suck. That's the
Agreed.
unfortunate part about this banner. And the Silver Wolf banner has not only Lynx but also Hanya, who we'll talk about in a little bit.
Argenti banner.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I guess
that's-
there's the Argenti banner if you like throwing your money away. But
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you want sustain but also supports, you could also go the other banner, which is a lot more valuable if you don't have a wide roster. You know? Yeah.
I do think the fact that this roster of 4-stars is all damage units is actually the problem I have with it. I don't have a problem with particular units.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how true that is. Are they really damage units? Do they really do
A Serval
damage?
is more like a Serval
Yes.
feels more like a support these days. I don't know.
Serval is Kafka support. Yeah.
Serval does good damage. Build or break effect.
Yeah. The
but-
Serval
yeah,
meta.
break
yeah.
effect.
Yeah. Who are the other
I
two
mean-
characters?
Arlan and Base Daniel.
Okay, I can't.
Holy shit!
speak
How
to-
awful.
Yeah, I know.
I can't speak on Arlen at all, but I have cleared Memory of Chaos 10 with base Dan.
You know,
He's actually
So Arlen
pretty
is
decent.
There's, I've been around Honky servers and I am very surprised that I see a lot of Arlen apologists.
I'm-
He's
I'm not surprised at all. The thing about Arlen is that he's got his downside was not compensated in the design of the game for a long time, right? His desire to run at low HP, we didn't have a good answer for, but you pair him with Vushwan and it's nasty. It's absolutely nasty what that character can do. So I'm not here saying Arlen meta. I'm saying Arlen way better than he gets credit.
So what you're saying is that Arlen should become the meta. Is that correct?
That exactly. Yes, you've understood me. You've understood me perfectly.
the unfortunate part is that the time that happened, Blade was already released. It was quite
For
a
what it's
quite
worth,
a reversal.
that is a straight up good point. Like
Yes.
absolutely a detraction from Arlen. It's like, hey, look, Blade does this better.
I have a lot of standard banner
Yeah,
pulls.
the attention went away. I mean, I think Arlen is. I don't know. I see a lot of showcases with Arlen. I was kind of surprised.
So, I'll say this because Treevoid made a comment about Silver Wolf value changing, and I think that's true for players like us, but who've been here since day one and who have built deep rosters. But I say to anyone who may have recently joined on PS5 or people who are free to play, I think Silver Wolf, if you are a free to play player, is still probably the most valuable unit you can have on your account because of the flexibility she creates for your roster. But you can't, if you're not getting it through pulling, you can get it through Silver Wolf. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Silver Wolf is the easy cheat code to push you further than quote unquote your roster should go. So yeah, if you're newer to the game, great unit. But if you're a long term player, then I think it has less value. Not that I don't use her; like I literally just used her for all that farming. So she's great. But
I still say, by the way, that for free to play, it doesn't matter how far into the game you are. The reason I say that for free to play specifically is that free to play, should always be looking for. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this one. Well, that's less interesting.
Awesome.
That's
You
literally
put it on your E3 Himiko.
Sick.
That's the
It is
worst
painful.
thing.
That is so painful.
Yeah, that's literally the worst thing on this banner.
That is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, thank you for the
Amazing.
congratulations. Thank you, Sal.
Sick.
Thank you, Mark. It's
Yeah,
appreciated. Yeah.
You can feel the excitement dripping.
Yeah. Yeah, best
And
light
the
cone for
crowd
best
goes
girl.
wild.
Yeah.
Best girl, yeah. Best light cone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going. there.
I've heard about S4, you know.
But the for free to play players, you always hear pull favorites over meta. That's got to be very hard when you're free to play, right? Because you're looking for I need whatever strength I can get my hands on to clear toward the end game. Silver
I mean,
Wolf
yeah.
makes your roster
I
able to do what you want and gives you the flexibility to say, no, I am going to pull who I want because I can use them wherever.
Oh yeah, that I've also heard that a counter argument to that, and that is, it's the good old like argument that people also use in Genshin. MOC is only 3 minutes of content, but HSR feels a lot more lopsided because you're not doing as much exploration, which is a lot of time consuming stuff
agree.
than MOC. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, right? Like Genshin absolutely is an open world exploration game. There's a lot more to it. Star Rail, it's a more limited game for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree with that. But I still think like, look, at the end of the day, everyone should pull for who they want. But I also think that I kind of hope at least that everyone who's playing has goals and wants to accomplish things and wants to try to push themselves at least a little bit, maybe not hard, but at least a little bit. And Silverwolf enables an account to do that maybe otherwise couldn't.
Yeah.
So I still think for that class of player, super valuable.
Hello, RVK and Soraya.
What's going on, Riv?
Again, not women hating. Okay, this is just evaluation. Look at my team. There's only one man on this team right now. Come on.
I love the hot take that Himiko should be on Before Dawn. I completely agree. It's her like and for what it's worth, I'm as somebody who has recently become a QQ convert and absolutely loves playing QQ now. That light cone gets bounced around between those two constantly. And
Hell yeah. QQ is great.
I am absolutely just constantly passing it back and forth, and I was hoping that maybe Argenti's light cone is going to be a good substitute. Maybe not pull Argenti, but pull the light cone. We'll have to wait and see about it.
All we know is what the light cone looks like.
Yeah.
Is this a visual glitch or does it not always show up? This
what
enemy
not show up?
has the mark from Topaz. Doesn't it normally have like a little pig over his head?
It shows up if
Yeah.
it's Topaz. That's
Oh, if it's Topaz.
like
that's-
on her turn. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I also have wondered this.
Yeah.
It sometimes gets bugged and shows even when it's not on her turn, so it can get
Oh,
weird.
I mean, it's weird that it only shows on her turn. Wouldn't you want to know more if
oh, I absolutely.
It's
For
marked
what it's
on
worth, it
other
drives
people's
me
turn?
nuts that I can't see it all the time. I completely agree. I want to see it on every character's turn. The other one, if maybe we can get the devs to listen, as long as we're talking quality of life, I really want a better way other than having to open the character screen during combat to see all of the buffs. Because routinely Fushuan's gets pushed off, and I really need to know how many turns it has left because I need to know if it's time to refresh it or not.
The field?
You mean
Yeah,
Because the field
Oh,
like
you mean like a
flashes when it.
you?
but
yeah, you
but
look
the
at
icon
ground.
gets pushed off pretty frequently due to just the number of buffs, and I have to open the character screen to see it.
But if you know that the field is isn't flashing, then you know that you don't have to refresh it, right?
Yeah. But it gets pushed up because there's so many buffs. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, I can't see
But-
the buff icon.
You can't see the ground.
No, I can't. To be very,
Wait,
to
you're
be
seeing
very
the-
honest, no, I can't.
Wait, you're actually looking at the field to refresh
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't look at the field. I look at the buffer.
Oh, okay. Because the field itself glows on the ground, and it starts flashing on the turn that you need to refresh
Oh
it.
my
I'll be
God,
very
Cell
honest.
figured it out.
I have not noticed that at all.
Okay, thank you, Cell, for the words of advice. So the Numby icon shows up when you can trigger Numby's follow up. So it'll always show up when her ultimate is up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. See.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
See.
And it shows you. It looks like it shows when Numby's going to attack now.
That's why Cell's
Yes.
the real brains of this outfit.
I agree.
Oh, so if you like. Oh, so if you like have a skill that's a follow-up attack, it'll show Nummy regardless if there's an ultimate or not. Is that what happens?
Well, when a follow up hits an enemy, it doesn't automatically like it pushes Numby up in the turn order.
Oh, okay. I see.
50% action advance.
Yeah, so it's not guaranteed, but when the ultimate is up, any action will do it. So,
Market is unpredictable.
so in theory, if there's a character whose skill is a follow up, then maybe that would show up sometimes. But are there characters who have a skill that's a
cough.
follow up?
E4 to
Cough, cough.
Let's sell you. Really. Really getting serious.
skill.
Why did I
that's a
only get?
follow-up?
Why did I only get 3? Am I in the wrong difficulty?
Yes, Topaz.
Oh man.
What? What? How did that happen?
That is absolutely brutal.
Ain't no way.
Oh,
Ain't no way.
no.
That is without question
no way.
the biggest waste of Trailblaze power I have seen. Very
Clip that,
impressive.
please.
Yeah. Oh no.
Very
Amazing.
impressive.
Okay, that was brutal.
That is rough.
Yeah. Do we want to go over again because this is a bit of an odd one out? Do we want to go over the 1.4 characters as well? While we have
Sure.
them on here.
Yeah. So we've got Topaz here. Who was the other one?
Jing
I
Liu.
can't.
Jing Liu.
Oh, pass.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
There's a lot of
The-
I would call it unnecessary hate being passed toward Jing Liu here.
Oh, it is only coming from Lion. Lion is a hater for no reason.
I think she's more of a she's like a luxury DPS unit.
Yeah, get this woman out of here. Am I
In
right?
the idea that we had so many other characters that we were getting that were DPS or really strong supports for existing DPS characters for a while, and now we have Dan Hong or Dragon Dan. And it's like, okay, do you need a character that's
No,
for all
and
intents
that's
and purposes
why-
like a side grade to him?
That's why the correct answer was to skip Dragon.
Yeah, I think it was
Well,
like you pull
I-
one
Instead,
or the
pull
other.
on Jing Liu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was happy with Blade, but that's me.
I'm still happy with Blade.
Yes,
I still like playing
I mean-
Blade.
I run him in every memory of
Yeah.
chaos, so same.
I actually stopped using Blade because he was too strong. I needed a challenge.
You nerfed yourself?
For what it's
Yeah.
worth, Blade was the moment that Memory of Chaos stopped being a challenge. Right? Like that was the moment for me anyway. It was like, okay, this isn't a challenge. I don't have to work.
I mean, for you guys, it was that. But for me, it was Fushuan because I didn't pull Ocha.
That's also fair.
Yeah.
Fushuan is so strong. However, Jing Liu.
So I'm very happy with her. Yeah, she's extremely strong. I like the way that she is. Great synergy with Bronya, which is a lot of fun for me as well. Although it does put me in the position of who gets Bronya. Is it Blade or Jingu? I like the character design as well. I've always been a big fan of sort of moon themed characters, so having that theming is also fun for me.
Oh, that's fair. I think I really like her design, specifically some of the bits and details that they added with like the thing at her, I think it's her belt at her waist that cycles through the moon phases, or is it the one at her neck? I don't remember. I'll be honest with you.
It is the one to her belt.
Okay, yeah. I really like that they're super like consistent and on brand with that. And then you've got like the attacks themselves that also form, different crescents and stuff like that. I think they did a really good job with their design. Obviously I did skip her. She just didn't really appeal to me that much. But there's nothing wrong with playing her. I think that her play style is kind of interesting, where it's you're playing your ultimate to create a like this, or I guess extend this like burst damage window, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I think she's probably like the most fun character to play in the game. Way more fun than Dragon Dan. Dragon Dan is super basic. Where's
you like
your
them, easy
friend?
and dumb?
What the fuck?
Fire confirmed. Why isn't your Himiko here, Cell? This is
Ouch.
what,
Do you
maybe
have
filtered by friends.
Where is Cell on your
The main
friends
problem
list?
I
Jesus.
actually had
Cell is
with
on the friends list, but
the main problem I actually had with Jinglu is that I don't think the gimmick is fun enough. I don't know. I guess I lean towards units or damage dealers with more utility.
okay,
or
here we
team
go. Jing
support,
Liu
I guess.
showcase. Okay, so we were talking about Jing Liu. So how do you use Jing Liu?
I want to protect everyone too.
You use skill 2 times and you
You
enter
play
the
Clara?
phase.
Yeah, she's gonna be.
You spam skill.
She's gonna
That's
be pretty
basically it.
unfortunate with this setup. And
You mean this isn't the
Starting-
ideal team comp?
and starting from no energy
Yeah.
and not being able to use her technique. Yeah, it's
Okay, but this is Ice Week, right? She's ice, so this is good.
yeah, use
So
the skill.
yeah, so okay, use the skill. Now she got a little moon under her. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, there's okay. Well, yeah, I guess this is the power of follow-ups. Okay. There goes Numby. Great. Topaz and Numby and Clara are not on the new set, by the way. So their damage is only going to go up.
I haven't. You don't want the new set on.
Is it?
Pyra.
Well,
don't
the
think
two.
so.
Yeah,
piece.
the new set.
I think the two piece is better.
The
than
two piece
I
is
don't-
probably good for her.
Yeah.
I haven't mapped it out to see if
I
it
think you're
beats 4-piece
losing-
physical.
I think you're losing too much from the physical.
I think ultimately they're going to be pretty close.
From what I've heard in the chat, so from what I've heard in the Star Rail chats, which I'm not sure if this is reliable, but the two piece is like a 5% increase, and the 4-piece is actually worse than just 4-piece
Yeah, the 4-piece
physical.
is definitely
Yeah.
worse. Because
Yeah, the
she's
4-piece
not
doesn't
very good
work
with
for
the
her.
4-piece bonus.
She only gets a single hit on
Yeah.
her counters.
Yeah, like
so it doesn't work for her.
The 4-piece physical gives you a lot of attack percent, but Clara has so much attack already that it's
Especially if you're running her signature.
which I'm running on her signature too. So like I don't need that much attack percent. I would definitely much prefer the damage percent from the follow up.
So here you go. Now you can use Jinglu to
Okay.
completely overkill this stage.
Yeah, so you go 2-piece for both damage percent. Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, so
This is the
so now she
weakest
has
Jing Liu
3.
I've ever seen.
Now I think this is a starting to be built Jing Liu. So now she has
What's
3
this-
little things under her. What do those mean?
I don't know. You're the Jinglu player. You tell me.
So when she's in her state, she can have up to 3 of the full moons. Her ultimate will recover a full moon, and so every time you use her ultimate in her state, you will recover a full moon, and you can extend it. So this is where like Hua Hua and Pingyun really come in handy. And I believe her E6 is where she gets like the ability to go up to 4, and she gets extras, and so it's all about extending her state, because really when she's not in her state, she's not very impressive. kind of a standard skill attack, single target, doesn't do a lot of damage. So she really wants to be in her state. The more you can maximize that, the better.
Right.
You also have like a ginormous amount of attack percent.
And she
If
boosts
you're
her
in the
crit rate
state.
as well, right?
Yeah, like
she
50%
gets
crit rate. Yeah.
Assuming
Well,
that
that's a
she
lot.
has max traces, yeah, 50% crit rate in her enhanced state.
Yeah, so like I think like the stance switching and all that, and like managing staying in the enhanced state, I think like that's a lot more interesting than, let's say, like your Daniel, or which is just like, do you have skill points? Use big button, or your Blade, which is like press button and then do normal attack for 3 turns, right? Like they're a lot more straightforward. There's like a little bit to manage with Jingliu, even if in practice it's the same like
A
side
little.
loop.
I would definitely call it a little, but yes.
Yeah, but like there's something going on there.
Same, but different.
Yeah. Wow, these are terrible drops going on here.
I think for what it's worth, like Jinglu, ultra powerful, like no questions asked. Either depending on who you ask, the top or the second top damage unit. I think the more interesting unit remains Topaz, only because of how I think people really misunderstand what Topaz does and really undervalue, I think, what she's capable of and what she's going to continue to bring to the game over time. I think she's a really interesting that probably got underrated by people just wanting her to be another press button win character.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
What do you mean?
Here, I'll hop into our gameplay in 1 second once I buy all these sprouts, because I've been getting no luck with these drops. Let's see here. Max this out. Okay.
Use your Jades, 5-head.
Jade. Why would
God.
Why would I use my Jade? I don't need to.
Because you can just buy the books outright.
What?
Yeah.
Not books, but you know.
Oh my! Those are pulls. You're crazy. I would never do that. I need that for
Watch
for
him
my.
do it. Watch
I
him
need
do
that
it.
for my doctor ratio and my runway, unless they turn out like Argenti, where they preview the kit and then I'm like, oh, this is
Look at
lame.
Treevoid.
Damn, you're pulling both? Wow.
Pretending like he's
What the
not
hell?
going to spend. Like, I gotta save this stuff. Yeah, okay, that's
He's a free-to-play new player.
Well, no, I mean I spend like when I want
gonna
to.
kill him.
definitely not the case.
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
But I don't like, I skip units. Like I skipped Blade, I skipped Jingliu. You know, I don't pull everything.
Hey, I've technically skipped a unit. I don't have damage.
That's
I'm
sad.
it.
still.
I'm skipping like 2 patches, so.
Technically, I don't have Huahua either, but
Ooh.
I think the more I talk about her, the more I'm talking myself into pulling for
I'm
her.
I'm still kind of upset that I got Daniel. Ugh. Because I'm never gonna build him.
I'll never say never. I think Sal unfriended me. I'm just never.
Hopefully. I
That
mean,
makes
what?
sense.
Let's bring in
it's
this
tough.
Blade.
Everyone thinks they're gonna skip, but it's hard. And I honestly, not that this applies yet in this cycle, but I think it's one of the strategies behind the 3-week cycles of a banner. It's hard to resist for 3 full weeks, right? Even me, I was completely convinced I wasn't
I think
pulling
for spenders
Dan.
like us, yeah. It
I mean,
is
yeah,
really
it
difficult.
is absolutely just FOMO tactics going on.
Oh, 100%, right? I'm sitting there at the end going, well, maybe I should get Dan, right? Like, he seems really strong. I don't really want the character, but will I regret not picking him up?
And you also don't have the doubt. You don't also have the benefit of exploring to get your mind off it. You open up HSR and that's
Right.
all you can see, the warp
Yep.
screen.
Yep.
Yours opens directly to the warp screen? You crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
May
is
not.
the tech, right? I use this, and then when the ultimate comes up, I do
Yep,
it
hit it
before she leaves
immediately.
the enhanced state.
Yep.
So then I get a super strong ultimate with all her buffs.
Yep. And, she'll
And
get
an
one
extra
more,
turn?
one more full moon.
Crazy. Okay, that is nuts. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's Jingliu, like super strong DPS. Oh yeah, we didn't mention her quote unquote drawback. Did we?
Well, I
She
did
has
talk
one.
about
Not
it a
really.
bit. Once she's not in her buff state, I mean, she's weak.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I was.
Her damage
That's
is
not
real
what I
bad.
was referring to. I was referring to the party HP sap.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, which is technically, I guess.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Completely irrelevant in effectively every use case. I just can't imagine when that matters.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really know what the design, like. I feel like Daniel has actual like negatives to his, like, he uses a lot of skill points. So you kind of have to like build your team with that in mind. But with Jingliu, it's like not, she's kind of like SP. She's not as SP intensive as, let's say, like Sela.
I'll say this, like she does have the downfall if you don't have you know, your Lota or your Fuchuan. Like, for example, she will not work well with Japard, right? Just because Japard has no way to heal back.
Yeah.
Even the ultimate that Fuchuan has is capable of keeping you safe. Won't fill you back up, but will keep you safe. But Japard just isn't going to work flat out. And I think any future shielding unit isn't going with Jinglan or with Jinglu. Whether that matters or not, don't personally think so, but maybe.
I feel like shields are dead. Like we
haven't
just
had a
we,
new
we, we
shield
brought
here.
we brought Fushuan in, who's preservation, which is like all about shields, and there's who needs
Yeah,
shields?
I mean,
just don't take damage.
I mean, the interesting thing there with the shields is, I think they're really hard to build around, and I think when you look at, it would be really interesting to see Fushuan's mitigation expressed as a shield value, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much shield would that actually be? And, you know, if you express that as basically every time the enemy acts, you're getting a shield of about 20% of your max HP,
Bro.
it's insane how much shielding she does compared to a unit like Japard, who put everything into it on his ultimate, and you'll get one shot of a 2,000 point shield, and that's, you know, 2/3 of your HP. It's just the difference between her and others, when you really think about it from a shield value perspective, is pretty astounding.
Yeah.
I'd like to think of it more as Fushuan basically triples your team's HP, which is
effectively
a lot scarier to think about it.
That's effectively what she does. It's effective, and even more so because she has the healing built in. Yeah, and I think that's maybe where I definitely understand why they did it. And I think it's what enables her to solo sustain over a long period of time. But boy, does it make her just an absolutely back-breaking unit when compared to others, because it's wild when you really think of the effective health of your team. Crazy how much she gives.
I could, however, also see a future character that works like the simulated universe Clipoth, where there's quake damage. That would be an amazing buff, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that would make shields much more valuable, is that you get very offensive oriented.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed, speaking of the future, to having a, I don't know if this could even potentially work, but having like a defense scaling DPS who functions off of that kind of mechanic. Although I doubt you could have them be preservation. That sounds more
like Noelle.
That sounds like a hunt or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be super cool.
I don't know how much like they care about the paths at this point. Like, I feel like all the paths kind of mix together. Like Hoho is
I admit that I'm
very
surprised.
abundancy.
I admit that I'm surprised at how quickly they've leaned into role compression in this game. Right? They really went quickly into role compression. it does give me a little pause as to the longevity, but I think as long as it's interesting, it'll be okay. But I have to say, as is typical for when I join these, it is that time here on the West Coast for dinner.
Okay, thank you for stopping by now.
Yeah,
Good
thanks
to
for coming.
chat as always. I always have fun with you guys. Have a good one, chat. Keep giving these guys crap, because if I'm not here to do it, someone has to.
Very much
Especially Treevoid.
appreciated. Yeah. Thank you for subscribing, Mark. Very much appreciated.
Oh.
I was like, did I set up the notifications properly on the new channel? I don't remember if I did that because I had to change a lot of Streamlabs settings like a month ago when I realized that they were still set for my personal channel, and that's why I had to like manually plug in the stream key every time we went live. So I'm glad that that everything fixed properly. No worries at all, Mark. Thank you. we appreciate it all.
Yeah,
at
thanks
any
for the
time.
subscribe.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's Jingli. Do we want to go over Topaz?
Sure.
I mean, we kind of did, but so just like I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
Yeah,
was thinking. I
yeah.
was
Like basically,
sort of already did.
she applies her Numby debuff to someone, which buffs follow up damage. When you do follow ups, it advances Numby. When she uses her ultimate, it makes all attacks advance Numby. And her animations kind of suck. Like I really like Topaz. Where is Topaz in the animations, bro? It's
I think that the ultimate lasts just a little too long.
the ultimate animation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Like her skill is atrocious. Let's see when I get to her again. I think it's crazy that her skill is literally like she does a spin and then it just does the follow-up animation. Like I don't know what they were cooking. Hanya has way better animations and she's a 4-star. Like what is what is going on with Topaz?
But how would chat know? Because they haven't been able to see the Hanya.
Everyone saw
Really?
Hanya when they watched the preview on the stream because they showed.
No, I'm saying because we haven't gotten to show off what Hanya does.
I could not. I don't think I can do that again. I think that was a one-time thing.
Boo this man.
If you want to get to that, and then I switch over to your stream, we can do that.
Yes, Topaz is super usable.
Oh
as a
yeah,
hero.
Topaz is like I have an E2 Topaz not because I wanted the power of an E2 Topaz, but because I just wanted an E4 Gwen hyphen, and the game refused to give me anything above E3. So it's not by choice that I have her at E2. Now that I don't, I'm not happy with it, but totally fine at E0. Like she's a good unit. I think Nalf was mentioning this earlier, but like she got overshadowed because her personal DPS isn't like Jingli or Dan Hung level, even though that's not really what her role is.
It never would be because she's a single target damage dealer.
Well, I mean, it
like
could be if it was a lot more, but yeah.
You can easily build her for her own personal damage, and it would be really good. It would be fine. Like, look, she's not even built for damage, and she's one-shotting these enemies. Which,
yeah, these real obstacles here. These little birds in this farming domain. But yeah.
Yeah, but you see what I'm getting at. Like, you can look at the numbers and be like, oh, okay. And I assume your Topaz is not optimized. She's not on the new set. She's probably got just kind of whatever for
I mean, I think her build is like pretty good. She's on 4-piece hunter, which is tragic, or not hunter, 4-piece fire. Yeah, I know, but she uses her ultimate pretty frequently because she's E2, and she uses her skill all the time. So like, I'm getting pretty good uptime on the 4-piece bonus. But yeah, it's not ideal. Like she will switch to the follow-up set.
Yeah. So her floor and accordingly her ceiling are much higher now. She's got a lot of potential if you play her as a hyper carry, but the fact that she's strictly single target and is going to move from enemy to enemy, one at a time, holds her back when you're directly attempting to compare her to characters that are built with AoE in mind from the jump, like that. Specifically, blast damage characters who are, one target plus whoever's next to them, the adjacent enemies. They, up to this point, have been the strongest characters in terms of damage. Not that we've had a whole lot of really, really good single target damage dealers. We've had one, which was Sela. But then our AoE options, specifically erudition, they're good, but they're not perfect. They definitely have some flaws, and a lot of it comes down to the way that they're tuned. If you look at their numbers, it seems like they're tuned for 4 to 5 enemy fights every time. If you look at God, I hate saying potencies. If you look at their values, the motion values, there you go, for their abilities, it's just not really comparable when you see them doing, it deals 150% of your attack, which is really low. But then you think, oh, okay, well, if it's 3 enemies, well, that's 450%, etc. No, Soraya Nalth had to go. He's on the West Coast. It's dinner time with the family. I don't know what happened to Sinewave. He just kind of dropped off. So
is he off the call?
Yeah, I can only assume it's internet related.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I'm trying to keep an eye out just in case he comes back. Anyways, all of that to say, Topaz is really good.
Yeah. Why would you call Sinewave our friend? Come on, that's ridiculous.
Ooh. Damn.
No, that's fine. No, Sign's great. Sign's a good friend of the show.
Uncommon Treevoid W.
Yeah.
Damn it! I'm so used to saying L. Yeah. That was the first place I went.
No. Yeah. So now that those terrible drops are over, I'm just gonna run with whatever leveled relics I have here.
So
in Memory of Chaos.
So Treevoid.
Yeah.
What did you think of the events that we got for patch 1.4?
Okay, so honestly, aside from the Pokemon event, I don't remember what they were. So all I'm going to be able to talk about is the Pokemon event. Were there other events?
That was actually kind of the point I was going to make.
Yeah.
That patch 1.4 did not have a whole lot going on.
Yeah, and I feel like this patch is going to be very similar.
Yeah, it was a patch in this game. It felt
that was
real sleeper, which is fine.
The
Not
story
every
was
patch has
good.
to be an
I like the
banger.
story.
Yes, the story was really good.
It's all about death.
Oh boy. Something I'm gonna do is try and really quickly stream through all of the whatchamacallums, announcements, the updates from Hoyo.
Any named characters die? Were there deaths in it? I don't think there were any deaths, but there were interesting revelations about characters that could lead to people dying.
Could be. So we got the new story mode where we discovered some new stuff was happening on Bellabog, which it didn't immediately lead into the Pokemon event, but we'll loop back to that. We got a companion mission for Jinglu, and then we had the Simulated Universe Planar Infinity event where the Simulated Universe was all buggy and it was peak.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that
OP.
one. Yeah.
And let me see here. Scrolling. That was all the events. We had the typical, increased trace rewards, the double relics, the double Simulated Universe rewards. That was it. So we had 2 events.
Yeah, I mean, like the Pokemon event was a massive event. So I kind of get it. But yeah, it was definitely a slower patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking personally, I felt like the Pokemon event went on just a bit too long.
Um. Yeah, I could get that.
Essentially, the way that it worked was you would go and you would sign up for this. Well, you get dragged into it really for this event, and they would give you your first set of Pokemon. You had to make a team, which I think they gave you. Was it 3 or 4 to start with? I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
I think 3, but yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But they gave you your Pikachu type character, as well as a damage dealer, and then just whatever other character. And what you would do is you would go into a zone, an existing like map that they had tweaked a little bit, and you would solve a couple of simple puzzles, and you would fight
Other trainers.
other trainers and wild Pokemon. The wild Pokemon, when you defeated them, you automatically caught them. And then the trainers would give you essentially the XP that you could use to level up your Pokemons. And then once you finished all the puzzles in an area, you could go challenge the gym leader. And upon challenging the gym leader and beating them, you could go to the next area, etc. And then, obviously, once you defeated them all the gym leaders, which there were 4, you would go to the Pokemon Championships on Bellabog, and then there was a series of opponents you had to fight to get to the finals, and then you had the super elite player rival battle after that. And it just, each area, it just felt like it went on just a little too long. Treevoid was telling me that it took, no bullshit, he said it takes about 4 hours to get to the through the event, and he lied. He is a liar.
It took me 4 hours.
Don't trust Treevoid.
I mean, the event's over, so it doesn't matter now.
Because even like mashing through the story and doing all of that stuff and going as quickly as I could on everything, it still took me a solid, because I ended up having to do it over the course of 2 days, because I was very, very sick last week, and I've been very busy with work the rest of the month, so I had to do it once I was feeling a little bit better on Saturday. I had a couple of hours to burn on that, and I got through the first area, and I was like, oh, fuck. And then I had to do the like shotgun the rest of it on Sunday, and that took another like 6 hours. It was so long. I just wanted the game to put me out of my misery.
Oh. This talent is very funny, by the way. Have you seen it?
No.
I don't know if it's going to work on a boss enemy. Fuck. Okay, I'm going to reset this. Wrong button. Showcasing a new feature here. If you do that by accident, you can click this restart challenge button, and you start at the beginning of the wave. Isn't that cool? This is so cool. And you don't need to do.
You don't have to do that shit again.
Okay, so now I'm going to use.
Genshin, please.
Yeah,
please.
What
please,
would
God.
you have that in Genshin?
To only do the second half?
Oh, only do the second. I mean, Genshin has the checkpoints in the waves, though, right? So.
Yeah, but if you have to reset one side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you could definitely do it, but I think the waves are
super nice.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. If you do it on normal enemies, yeah. So if you do it on normal enemies, though, they run away from you because they're scared.
Yeah. These guys don't move though.
Yeah, so it's a little bit.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, I am going to do it again. Yeah.
And then
Sampo, and then Kafka.
Yeah, there you go. And so the enemies should end up debuffed. Oh, they're so
wow,
scared.
The speed down from Sampo didn't really do much there, did it?
It's not a speed down. It's a delay.
Yeah, they weren't very delayed, were they?
No, not at all. I think they have such a high either speed or action value or whatever on the first turn that it just doesn't matter. I don't think you're ever going before them.
This is my first time really using Asta. I just finished building her.
Oh wow.
Um,
And then the other event, the Planar Infinity, it was basically just simulated universe, but you got a lot more stuff. Like, what's that? You want a shit ton of curios? We got you covered. When you're doing just a regular simulated universe run and you've got 30 curios at the end of it, it's pretty crazy. But that was literally all the events in the patch, which it did not feel great in my opinion.
yeah, like I liked a lot of like it was very like overt about its Pokemon references, and I liked those quite a bit. I thought they were pretty funny and all that. But yeah, aside from that, you know, I could definitely see it feeling lacking here. Ooh, this is not great positioning. That's fine.
Now, what I'm gonna do
Um,
is, God, I'm just gonna pray that it's near the top because I don't have to scroll through all of this. Character preview, event overview. Here we go. Oh, whoops. I won. Damn it. Treevoid distract them with enthralling gameplay.
yeah, this is. I mean, this is my first time using Huohuo. And yeah, like you can already see, like obviously skill point management is more of a concern here. Especially given that I'm using 2 dot users who want to. I mean, Sampo doesn't need to skill every turn. Like he can basic, but you'd prefer to skill. But I'm gonna just basic attack with Asta here, and then because my field is still up on Ho-Ho, I'm not gonna use her skill, so I'm just gonna basic attack with her, and now I've got enough skills here, and I still have the attack buff because the attack buff from her ultimate lasts for 2 turns, and it's only I think it's level 7, and I'm getting a 37 or 34% attack boost. So that's like that's a lot of stats that we're getting from her already.
Sign says power went out.
Oh, classic sine wave bailing on us.
So, in comparison, actually we have another character, but we'll come back. In comparison, version 1.5, which just started yesterday, we've got a new, like another continuation, like an interlude continuation of the main story, which finds us back on the Laofu, which it's very, you know, spooky, scary, Halloweeny type themed, where you're going around. You're not literally ghost busting, but it's kind of in that vein.
Hello, Indo.
Oh, Indo's here. I like Indo. Hi, Indo.
The Melazines do not exist in this universe. I mean, we kind of have like similar things. The character on screen is kind of like a Melazine, but
I have not gotten super far into the event portion of it, but there's a new event light cone, which we've only had one other one, which was super, super cracked.
I'm not crazy about this event like
I'm not super thrilled either. So we have this haunted event going on. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts because it just happened yesterday. But coming up, we
there's
have
something
another
early
one.
on. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
We have another one coming up that's called the Boulder Town Martial Exhibition, which sounds like another like Fight Club type thing, which typically promises to be at least a little engaging. You know, since there's not really any open world, or sorry, there's not a ton of open world, you know, exploration, whatever, in this game.
Well,
That part is very limited.
I mean, there isn't any.
I guess it's not open
world.
at all.
Yeah,
But
there is
we're
a little
splitting
bit
hairs
of like.
at that point.
Oh yeah, I guess I should update the thing. So Nalthian left for his dinner. He's on the west coast, so half like he has to leave for dinner, and then Sign's power went out. So classic sine wave dipping without saying
Classic
anything.
subhuman.
Yeah. Here's some disable this.
We have
Okay.
another event called the Stellar Shadow Seeker, which I have no idea what that's about, except I see a whole bunch of cameras in the preview image, so I assume it's some kind of March 7th, photo-y whatever. I don't know.
1%.
But then we do also have a new relic domain to farm new relics at, which are going to be the follow-up and damage over time sets, which obviously very, 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 very intriguing.
This team would like
your dot and follow-up characters.
Yeah.
Then we've got a new simulated universe world, which features Pot's least favorite toy now, Yanqing as the boss, which also has new relics as well. And then we've got a new boss. We've got new enemies, which are I'm pretty sure are going to show up in this Memory of Chaos as well. We got a couple of new areas. Oh man! And then later on in the patch, we've got 2 other new characters in Argenti and Hanya.
Yeah, and I guess we can talk about Hanya now. Not much to say about Argenti other than what we mentioned because we don't really know too many details about his kit. But
He looks
Hanya,
cool.
yeah, he does look.
Treevoid's a hater.
His animations look cool. I definitely agree with that.
What's it?
But Hanya, once you get, it's not very far into the event. You'll get to do like a game. You're forced into a battle, and in that battle, Hanya is one of the units you can use. And if you go into like the abilities tabs, you can read everything she does, and all her talents are there. So all her stuff is out there now, and she's pretty interesting. I'm not super excited about her character, but she's not like bad. She's very useful. I think she's maybe a little bit being overhyped. But
Someone in
she's
chat,
quite good.
please clip that. Unbeknownst to many of you, Treevoid's name in Discord is Day One Hanya Hater.
Which is accurate.
By the way,
Yeah.
so now as he tries to backpedal.
I'm not backpedaling. I do.
Oh, I don't
do
think she's
dislike
that
her.
bad.
I strongly dislike her kid, and I think she's overrated. But
Ow, she's not even out yet.
well, I used her.
You can't overrate something that isn't out.
Okay, I think people are overhyping her. I'll put it that way.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
You can't base a character. You can't form a really good opinion on a character based on a trial.
A very
in the
shitty
game.
trial.
Yeah.
I am still pulling. I want to get at least one copy, Mark. I try to get at least one copy of all the 4 stars. So I want just one. Also because, and this is more like a Genshin analogy, but there's some. Ooh, my field is down. That's not good. There's some characters who have like more niche support units in Genshin, and I feel like Hanya is a pretty good support unit specifically for Danheng, Imbibitor Lune, and QQ. I don't think like skill points are that needed elsewhere. Like if you're running, let's say Bronya and Silverwolf, then like you tend to run into skill point issues. So it's not that it doesn't exist. I just feel like it's being overhyped a little bit. But we'll see once she's out and I use her like fully and everything, if my opinion has changed.
Out.
Yeah, like once I use her with my team, if that opinion will change. But the way she works functionally is she'll put a debuff on it. So her skill puts a debuff on an enemy, and the way that debuff works is for every 2 basic attack, skill, or ultimates that are used on the enemy, you get a skill point back, and that can proc twice. And once it procs twice, the debuff falls off, and you can only have that debuff on 1 target at a time. And so that means that like even if you're using her skill, she's +1, she's skill point positive, so that's good. She's generating skill points for the party and everything. And when you attack a target that has the debuff on, you get a damage percent boost, and her ultimate provides attack percent and speed to a single target. So she's fine. She's providing skill points and everything. I just don't think she's, like groundbreaking or anything in that regard.
We will see.
Yeah, we'll see. But her design, visually, and her animations are amazing. Like, I can't praise them enough. I think all the Topaz budget went straight into Hanya's animations.
That's topical since she's all about budgets and evaluations and
Yeah, and she didn't spend any on herself.
exactly. She was hoarding for the Hanya animation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of animation budgets,
Dan Hung's still the best. I know.
we did not cover Gwenhyfen.
Oh yeah, Gwen Hyphen. Yeah, I'm mad at Gwen Hyphen. That's why.
She is a fire character. She's Nihility, so she's our first kind of dedicated burn character. From a certain point of view, you could look at her as a fire,
I did it again.
very, very limited Kafka, in that essentially her skill will put a burn. Everything that she does will burn enemies, but
This
her
is
skill
Gwen
will
Hyphen, by the way.
pop it on 3 enemies, main target and the ones next to them. And then her ultimate has the ability to detonate her own burn. She can't do that for anything that anyone else does, but she can proc her own burns. And then every time an enemy takes a tick of burn damage from her, they gain a debuff. You can't see it yet because they haven't been burned, or they haven't taken the burn damage, but it's called Fire Kiss. And what that does is and this is a completely unique thing, it's actually way stronger than you might think. It increases the amount of damage that the enemy takes by a specific percentage, and it can stack multiple times. It's 3 at base and then 4 when you get all of her Eidolons. And I think at tout level 10 it's 7%, so 21% increase to damage, which the way that the damage calculations in this game work are, when you're increasing a character's damage, like let's say, Topaz gives Clara a 50% damage boost. It's not actually increasing the amount of damage that Clara does by 50%, due to enemy defenses and blah blah blah, all of that complicated number crap. But Fire Kiss from Gwenhyfen will actually increase your damage by that percentage because it's on the back end, which is quite nice.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are actually saying that Gwenhyfen is more similar to Pella in that regard, than she is let's say your Sampo or your Luca. Because her personal damage on her dots isn't very good. So what she is doing, though, is she's providing not defense down, but a similar effect. That is increasing your party's damage output.
She's Fire Kurosame.
Yeah, and not only that, but her basic attack can also increase, or can reapply the burn. So, and it has splash. So, no. But if you're focusing on one target, the skill has splash, right? So you can get a very SP positive playstyle with her and just maintain your Fire Kiss buffs. Like her ultimate is fine. But
it does not do good damage.
Yeah, it doesn't do good damage because it's proccing her burns, which don't have a lot of damage anyways. So she is, in a way, like a alternate to Pella. Like they're both Nihility. You can use them together because they're different types of defense shred. But it is kind of like having a second Pella now, which I think is pretty cool.
See what you're getting at. Yeah. Kind of.
The market is unpredictable.
Because that's like really the fire kiss is the main reason why you're bringing her.
Oh, 100%.
You're not bringing her for her personal damage.
I managed to get her to E5.
Oh, wow.
So my fire kiss thing, I think it's capping it. It's like 30% or something like that. Which is very, very nice. Because it's not just increasing, damage that the enemy takes from dots or something like that, the way that Kafka or Sampo would do. It's just damage, period. So you can use her
Like
outside
Lucas
of a
Burst.
dot team.
Yeah, you can use her in any team. Again, which is why
real cool.
like there's people saying like, don't think of her as a dot unit. Think of her as a shredder.
No, she's absolutely not. She's a unit that has dots.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
not a dot unit.
Yeah. She was not meant to be in this party, which you can tell because she has 1k HP. She's not built yet. So because I was waiting for the new set to put on her. So unfortunately, I put the wrong redhead in. So this is a BC moment.
Honestly, I don't even think it matters all that much.
Well, I'm just worried that she's gonna die, and then I'm gonna lose that.
Well, I mean,
star.
looking at it, quote unquote, objectively,
that Clara damage. Oh gosh.
I don't even think it's necessarily her best in slot.
Because she again, you're not bringing her much for her damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna say this with the Topaz thing when we were talking about Topaz, but people are also just like, again, there's a lot of murmuring about her being a little underwhelming and such, but similar to, I guess, Kafka in a sense, Topaz will get not better, but we'll have more options every time a new follow-up unit comes out, and so she's not done yet. This is not her final state. So there's always more room for her to grow and new synergies to come out and everything. So I think that's something that people should keep in mind as well. Like right now, probably the most frequent follow-up unit is Clara, but you don't really have control over that. Like you can manipulate it a little bit, but it's still up to like enemies getting turns and them attacking Clara. You can put her with other units like Jingy 1, but their follow-ups aren't super frequent.
Well, and that's part of it is Jingyuan, obviously, he's not skill point positive at all. And you can play Topaz as a kind of support instead of a DPS to increase his damage output, which is fairly high. But also you've got characters. The one that people are talking about the most right now is Himiko. Because it's not hard to trigger Himiko's follow-ups kind of when you want to.
In a fire week setting, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Every setting can be a fire week setting.
I mean, if you have Silverwolf, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to be fire week. Himiko's follow-up triggers whenever an enemy is broken.
Yeah,
period.
But
it doesn't
her
matter.
Breaks factor.
It doesn't matter if she breaks it or not.
She gets some bonuses when it's her breaks, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But for the purposes of Topaz, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So it's really nice. And she's been a much maligned character. Agree. She's been a much maligned character from the very beginning of the game, where I think the only person that I've seen that's stayed true to the Hime Hub path is Cell here in the chat. Hi, Cell. Yeah. Who, day one Himiko enjoyer, by the way.
Yeah.
Which I think that's really cool. I like, people picking a character. You stick to it. You're a Cell is genuinely a Himiko main.
Yeah. Hello, Legard.
Hi, Blair. Do me a favor and berate Treevoid for skipping Argenti.
But like, look at this. See, like right here, when Himiko's skill inflicts weakness break, she gets an extra point of the charge.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah, but
You know
it
what?
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If you're up against a boss getting broken is an automatic trigger.
Yeah, but I mean, how frequently do you break bosses?
I mean,
Like if they're not again, like
they're
this
the
isn't the
enemy that
situation
matters.
where if it's well for Himiko's follow-ups, it doesn't matter who breaks, right? Like you just want breaks in general.
Exactly.
And in a Topaz setting, like Topaz and Himiko going together, like you really want fire break with Himiko and Topaz. Like there's definitely a noticeable drop off in the frequency of follow-ups if it's not fire
think
week.
that you would have to talk to Sal about that, Indo.
No, my chat's in top chat mode. I hate top chat.
Yeah, top chat sucks.
It defaults to top chat, and I don't know why. It just like obscures chat messages.
I have to remember every single stream.
Yeah.
I got to put it on
I
live
wonder if
chat.
there's a
I
way
got to
to
put it on
switch
live
the
chat.
default here.
There are times that you're talking to people, and I'm just
And
like,
you
who
don't
the
see-
fuck are you talking to? Sisney, who's that?
Sissy Nene? Oh yeah. I
No,
know Sissy.
never say that ever again. Cross is dead.
Will
He is dead to us.
Will of Masamune. Okay. Where's my Aztec?
Will of Discord Vagrant. What are you looking for?
I was looking for Asta.
Asta with Clara? Really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not like she gets less counters.
Because you sped her up?
Yeah, but like the enemies are still taking turns, and Clara's skill is massive damage. Clara does so much damage on her skill. Because I have her past E1, so enemies are marked, and they don't lose their mark.
Let me see here. You could use that links that you have right there instead of hua hua,
That would,
and then
I'm gonna use the new unit.
and then you could put Gonithan back in because Clara's going to draw the aggro to her,
with no relics.
and then you put hua hua on the other side
The other side
with that Yanqing that you're never going to use.
No, I'm gonna use them. But if it's imaginary week, I'm not gonna use Kafka instead of Clara. Yeah, I am not using
I like
follow up Kafka. No, thank you.
I like that.
Clara needs. You guys are crazy. Okay, look,
You could
look how
replace Clara with
perfectly built
Kafka,
this is for Dan Hong Pella. Like they knew.
or just replace Clara with Himiko. Boom. Enemy is fire weak too.
With my level 20 E3 Himiko, yeah, just.
I mean, that's your fault. You knew that Topaz was coming weeks in advance. Like 3 weeks in advance. Maybe 4. I forget when they do the thing.
Yeah, Indo. You can see Clara's feet here. See, barefoot.
She doesn't have bandages though.
She's also
but
a child.
Svarog kind of does.
No. Listen. I said that they're weaker
Yes,
without
exactly.
Fire Week. I didn't complain that there aren't enough Fire Week enemies.
He's
That's
afraid.
not what I said.
He's afraid of Asta and Topaz, who are both strong, extremely wealthy women.
He doesn't
want
I'm
to add
using
to
them
it
both.
by putting in Himiko. Then he's totally outgunned and outnumbered. In the case of Himiko, literally outgunned with her orbital laser cannon.
God, Clara too strong.
If only you had Pella in this team, you could remove those pesky revival
Bella's on the other side.
buffs. If only she was on this side, though.
I
Just
can't have two
saying.
Pellas.
I mean, if only you could. I certainly pull enough that I'm trying to make an entire team on both sides of nothing but E6 Pella. Jesus Christ. See,
So,
Mark knows what's up.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are Himiko fans. With Asta's ultimate, should I use it at the beginning of a cycle?
I think you're supposed to use it at the end.
Like right now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Disclaimer. I don't have my Asta built.
I just built her, so I don't really know when is the ideal time to use her.
know. I've watched a bunch of Asta guides. I still don't entirely get it. After Topaz's next turn.
turn here? Okay.
Yeah.
When he
So
used
end of the
Topaz.
cycle? Question mark.
Yeah, like immediately after, before the cycle ends, or once the cycle, or once I'm on turn 29.
I think
Ast is
it's
so hard.
immediately
Tinyun is
after.
so much easier.
If you use it immediately after, then it's going to affect their speed for the next cycle, which could potentially
Before the
push
cycle
the
ends.
Gorilla Squad enthusiast back.
It's okay. Numby just killed it anyways. Classic Numby moment.
And now your team has the speed buff here. If you just use your ultimate, you can basic attack. It's pretty good. I'm
Man,
still
look at
farming.
that damage.
I'm still farming for relics.
I mean,
got
we
my
spent the first half of this stream farming.
Well, I've been doing it this entire stream. I did 2 simulated universe runs to get through the last difficulty for the world. But I've otherwise been farming relics the entire time. And it's not going well. I've burned... I have to double check how much I have now, but it's been at least 20 fuel. I got 1 attack chest piece for the dot set.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
But if you need crit rate, crit damage, or healing on the dot set,
that
I
was
got
an
you covered.
18k basic attack on Topaz. God, Topaz is so. I love this team. I love Clara and Topaz together. I think they're just so much fun. Yeah, like look at this damage. That was 100k between the two of them. Look, these best buds. Okay, let's get this going. We're gonna get some energy back.
As far as other stuff for this patch, I'm glad to see that we're continuing to get the free pulls, which is always nice.
Yeah, I feel like if they ever stop, that'll be that'll be the big drama point. Instead of the like, I feel like it's a given at this point.
I'm also quite looking forward to the Planar Infinity for the double simulated universe rewards, especially with this. Damn it, motherfuck! Attack percent, crit damage on hands, but it's on the dot set. What? And I get double defense and HP on the follow-up set. Why is my life like this?
If I use my skill here, will Topaz get enough energy to... Or not Topaz.
Topaz.
Will Pella get enough energy to... She doesn't get half on a skill, right?
Do you have tutorial on her?
Yeah. Oh, they don't have
look-
defense shred on them. Never mind. That answers
I mean,
that question.
if you use her skill, then yes, it will. Because it will apply the debuff and it will count. So that should fill it.
Ooh.
Just barely. Do you have her on an energy rope?
Yep.
And do you have her talent leveled?
I don't think it's max. I think it's like 8.
8 is plenty. You just got to get hit.
Yeah. I just wanted it before I ulted and skill. It's fine.
She's also gaining more energy for some reason.
She gains energy when
Energy.
enemies die.
Oh, I didn't notice that the little guy
Yeah,
died.
the little dude died.
I couldn't tell you because all I use on my Pella is basic attacks. It only takes me 2 basic attacks to get my ultimate back.
Yeah, normally it's fine. It's just this was the start, so she.
No.
Look at that! Look at our boy. That's our Daniel for you.
I noticed that Silverwolf is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I brought Daniel to a wave. There's been a lot of imaginary weak, like innately imaginary weak enemies. So in those situations, Silverwolf is not needed.
Yeah, but you could make them lightning weak, and Ting Yun could deal more damage
Yeah,
too.
Ting Yu could help with the breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, the damage of the extra damage she gets on that benediction thing, that scales with the
You know what? Fine.
the stats of the person she's buffing. It scales with their attack and their crit stats.
Yeah.
So that's more damage. Just left on the table.
Get him,
You can
Pella.
make them quantum weak. You can get all kinds of breaks with
Oh yeah,
Fushlan.
Silverwolf has great break effect builds too. Like she does a lot. But because I have Fushuan here, I also want to be a little bit more SP positive with my other units. So
Enemy data network activated. Time for a good old counterattack.
The other thing I'm looking forward to in this patch, unironically, is Argenti, who I think he's pretty cool. I'm interested in seeing how he be working. I want to just double check something really quickly.
you want to marry him?
No. That ult animation is absolutely just top tier. It's fantastic.
This
have
is someone must have gotten delayed here. This is not ideal. Fushuan's thing is gonna go down.
Argenti.
Okay, what if I did that? No, I'm gonna cancel. I need one. Ugh, that's annoying. Okay, it's okay. His level 2 is pretty good for basic.
I'm pretty sure on the live stream they kind of told us how Argenti works. I think.
Well, we know he has 2 different levels of his ultimate.
Yeah. And I think that that's really cool.
I wonder
depending
how
on
that
how
would
much
how that
cost.
would interact with Huohuo.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know.
how much she would fill. Because that would be good. Because she's a percentage based. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's not very well? Oh, that I don't want to marry him? No. I don't think he's the kind of person that would do that. He's clearly
Really?
too obsessed with. Yeah, he's too obsessed with Idrilla, the Aeon of Beauty. It would end up being one of those like super one-sided marriages where like the one person is always like they're always at work or whatever, and they're never really spending time with you. I feel like it would just be really hollow and loveless, and I would be very unhappy. So no, I would not marry him.
My HP is getting pretty low here. I'm worried. Fushuan needs to get her ult back. Okay, Daniel.
And then
Yeah, here we go.
for the next patch, which obviously we'll talk about this next time, I know Treevoid, as he mentioned before, very excited about Dr. Reigns' uncle.
Hesitantly excited. I was excited about Argenti too until they revealed sort of like the base design of his kit, and then I was like, oh.
You described him as let's see here. He said that he was looking kind of nasty.
Yeah.
So
Oh no. Am I gonna
pump the brakes, Astenosis.
Woo.
You're
Okay,
fine.
I'm
You got
stressed.
this. You're fine. You
Ting
got
Yun
this.
in the red.
It's fine.
If I had Ho Ho here, Ting Yun would have healed just now.
I mean, you probably could have ulted what's her face? Fushuan. But it doesn't matter.
How could I ult with Fushuan?
I would 100% use Fushuan's skill in this turn.
Well,
though.
I mean, yeah, it's going away, so. But I don't need to.
Even ignoring that, I would just do that to get the ultimate
The
so
energy,
you can heal the
yeah.
team. Ooh, crit rate. Okay, I'll take that.
There we go. MOC 10 done. Yeah, I pre-did 1 through 7, both to save time on stream and to get extra materials. Jade for the pulls, which I didn't end up needing, but
And then the second half, we know. I'm gonna guess here. Ruan May.
do we know which is which? Like, which is the first and which is the second?
I think it's usually the order that they're revealed on Twitter. So I think Reigns' uncle is first.
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy with that because
Who's the 4-star character? Did they even reveal one?
it's yeah, they did. It's Sign's waifu. It's the robot
Oh,
girl.
oh,
I
right.
think we can go see
I
her.
I think she's. I think I
She's
would have to
quantum
double check the
destruction.
order. I think that they revealed her like first or second, so I think she's first half.
Who is that character? Let me see if I can find her.
Shui.
Shui Yi, yeah. She was
It's
in the 1.0 story when
yep.
you're with Dan Hung and Shu Sheng. She shows up for a little bit.
Look at that. Finding new treasure for you.
She's like a robot, I think. Is that it?
She's a cyborg.
She's a cyborg.
She's a dead lady that they cyborged up.
Oh yeah, the one thing I do not like about this event um, is that you deal with a bunch of children for like 90% of it, and I'm not a fan. Like, why are we dealing with kids?
Aren't they dead or something?
No, it's children who are possessed by the dead. Like, this is a you you did like a little duel against him. That's who I was fighting in the pre-show. Oh yeah, about this
Wow, way
event
to spoil the event for me.
in the
Jesus.
in the very beginning portion of the story of this new chapter, you're in a maze for a little bit. It sucks. It's like the worst part of this event. I was stuck in there for like 30 minutes until I had to read the little pamphlet that they
Are you,
tell you how to open the door.
are you 30 minutes to figure out how to get out of there?
No, because I didn't want to read the pamphlet. So I was like, I just open the door.
So
And the door
you
kept
didn't
telling me you can't open the door.
you didn't want to do the thing that the game was telling
It
you to
was
do,
very frustrating.
and then the game wouldn't let you do. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then I kept
Classic Treevoid.
and then I opened the first door and it keeps going. There's like 4 doors you have to open.
It did go on too long.
Yeah, I
with
was like,
doors.
bro.
Agree.
And then they want
But
you
yes,
to do like
literal skill
a
issues
talk
are-
to a mirror and figure out which is the lying mirror mini game. And I was like, come on, this is too much. I missed it when I could play Pokemon.
You can't complain because those were all voiced.
They were voiced, and I
That
mashed through
means that
them
they're
because
important.
it was midnight last night, and I wanted to dump my resin into the domain, and it was locked behind the story progression. So
I really need to figure out a way to make these boots work, these attack boots for Jingyuan, because they've got speed and crit rate.
hopefully it rolls all into speed.
No, I already have a relic that rolled into nothing but speed. It's a +9 speed out of gloves or something.
I will say I'm not super crazy about Poho's visual design. Like
what do you mean?
I think the tail is cool, but I'm really not a fan of like the face.
You don't like the paws for eyes thing?
Yeah, like the paws for eyes thing, like the super
She
bags
just looks
under
really
her
tired.
eye. Yeah.
I mean, they explain that in her. They've already explained it in the portion of the event that I've done, and I haven't even gotten.
yeah, like
probably
I
half
know
as far as you have.
why, but I just don't. I don't think it's a great design. See you later, Mark.
Thanks
you
for coming
stopping
by.
Wow, that was weird. I didn't like that.
I really like the characterization of her and her tail. I like their. They've got big buddy cop energy. If there was something that was going to get me to pull for her, it's that. I found it very entertaining. And then I saw a meme on Reddit earlier. It made me laugh. Specifically of... it was a good dad, bad dad meme. And the good dad was Svarog and Clara. They were like baking cookies together or whatever. And then the bad dad was Tail and... and where all you see is the bad dad has like a chainsaw raised over his head.
Yeah, the tail is not very nice to her.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's super fitting.
Yeah, but yeah, I think in terms of like future looking, like obviously I'm much more interested in the 1.6 characters than I am in the 1.5 characters. I mean, we'll see once their kits are revealed, like if that interest remains, because I was interested in Argenti and then that did not persist. So hopefully it's something that catches my attention, like Ho Ho did. Yeah, and I hope they keep doing more interesting kits like this.
I would like to see them start moving away from quantum all the time, though. I say all the time. This is, I think, the first patch in a couple where we've got quantum characters coming.
Yeah, since 1.3 with Fushuan. And
please give us love for the other elements.
Oh, imaginary? Please, yeah, I feel like there isn't enough imaginary husbandos.
I think that we need a...
Where's the imaginary woman at? We got Yukong and that's it.
That's it.
Even with Dr. Ratio coming out. All the imaginary 5-stars are men.
Where's all the ice characters?
We just got one. We literally just got one.
Where's the other fire characters?
We just got one. We got 2 last patch.
Uh-huh. I say again, where's the rest of them?
Right here.
We got some wind. We got Bronya. We've got...
No, I feel like wind is lacking.
What do you call it? Hua.
Yeah.
And then we've got a couple of DPS options and stuff. So it's like, oh, okay, we've got some variation there. Quantum now has 1-2 DPS plus a debuffer plus a
Lion,
preservation unit. Go fuck yourself. Geez, this is the stuff of nightmares. They all just have the fire ring around them. And then, we're getting a destruction character as well. And I think Runmei is a harmony quantum.
Wind.
Like,
wind?
She's
ice.
wind?
Ice. She's ice.
Is she?
Yeah.
I thought she was quantum.
No. Runmei is ice.
Okay.
Trey is quantum.
Well, then,
if they had released a quantum harmony unit, that would be insane. Because then Mono Quantum literally has all your...
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm tired of... I thought she was quantum.
No. Okay. She's ice. Yeah.
I'm so tired of the Mono Quantum bullshit. Where are all the Mono Fire homies at?
Where's
with Topaz, Asta, and Himiko?
Let's ram the door open. Oh, it didn't budge.
Yeah, Mono Fire Squad.
Yeah, exactly. Mono Fire is great. You got Himiko, you've got Asta and Topaz.
And Topaz, yeah.
Yeah.
Fire, and they all happen to be rich ladies. Literally Treevoid's worst nightmare.
Is Himiko rich?
Extremely.
Do people on the Express have lots of money? Is Welt rich? I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like they don't really flaunt it.
But I mean, Himiko fixed the Express and then decided to get on it and start traveling around the galaxy.
Oh, is that how Himiko joins the Express Squad?
No, she was the original Express Squad.
Oh, like she's like, oh, hey, there's this train here. Let's make it into an intergalactic train.
It wasn't working. Yeah, and then she fixed it without any help, apparently. Cell, I'm sure, has more lore knowledge. Yeah, Himiko's kind of a badass. I mean, she built a pizza cutter laser suitcase thing. I don't know what to call that. Yeah, long story short, she's kind of a badass.
Yeah, we got 2 Bylus.
I'm down to 14 fuel.
Oh no!
And I started today with 44.
Yeah.
Can you take my Bylus away, please?
I still don't have a Bylu. I got a Himiko light cone instead. Which I would have preferred a Bylu, honestly.
There is a small amount of temptation, like I said, to pull for Hua Hua, but I want to lose my 50-50 to Welt, please, and thank you. I would be okay with losing it to Yanqing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very disparaging if you're like, if the abundance shows up and you're like, oh yeah, and then it's Bailu.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, that would be disparage. Yeah, for sure.
To me, Bailu it can best be described as, you know, that meme from The Shining where he's hatcheting through the door and she's just screaming,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to that's Bailu's face poking through the door.
Yeah, your Bailu's what, E4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to pull in Genshin Impact, and I got to worry about that too. Holy shit! The last time that I did pulls in Genshin, and this is I was pulling for
Grizzly.
Nouvellette, I think.
Oh.
I lost the 50-50 to Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi is basically Ice Bailu.
Yeah. It all goes full circle. The games
Like,
know you
holy
need more
shit.
healers.
Small childlike healer character.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Well, I think Chi-Chi is much less childlike in tone than Bailu is.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah. Because Chi-Chi's dead.
A child zombie.
Yeah. Which Bailu is very much not. Bailu's the opposite of a zombie.
I mean, you could argue that she still is, since she reincarnates all the time.
Well, not really all the time in her specific case, but. Oh, this is like when we're chasing Mikolash in Bloodborne.
Oh boy.
Yeah. See, and then we have to corner him. Oh, what?
I'm waking up. I'll forget everything. Rontas eyes.
We're asking to use our heads when our team is Su Shang and Gwen Hyphen. Come on.
And Hua.
I feel like she's smart, right? She's scared, but she's smart. Oh, I saw her black and white head pin, and for a second I was like, why does she have a Monokuma hairpin? But no, it is not.
I think you'll find that the real brains of the outfit is Tail.
Yeah. I wish Tail was here.
Of course you do. Yeah. He's great. If I was going to pull for a personality only, I would just pull her Tail and nothing else. Can I trade Numby for Tail?
Yeah. Wow, how can you say that? Numby's great.
Numby is fine.
I mean, Numby takes up way too much screen time, but he's good.
Yeah, I want to get more screen time for Tail. Tail can be my follow-up guy.
Oh, that would be cool if Tail was like, if she had follow-ups in her kit and Tail was the one doing the follow-ups.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, Hua is basically child, shoot. I have the character in my mind, I just can't think of her name, from Guilty Gear.
I don't know.
Giovanni.
Oh.
Because she's got like the like wolf spirit.
Yeah.
That she fights with. Yeah, basically the same character.
Yeah, basically the same.
Hoyoverse and these crossovers.
Crossover one, please.
So Treevoid.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think we covered basically everything we wanted to. I guess we didn't really go into it, but like, yeah, we mentioned it. Memory of Chaos is expanding, and we're getting 2 new floors. Stop telling me to close doors, game. Game is backseating me. We're also getting a new endless wave mode thing for Forgotten Hall, starting in 1.6. So that's very interesting. I'm really curious to see how they're going to implement that. and each Memory of Chaos cycle is going to be extended from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, with other events happening in between, so you have more time to clear any given Memory of Chaos. So yeah, we're getting a lot of endgame updates in Honkai, which I think is showing good growth from the devs here, especially given, unlike in Genshin, there isn't as much other content to do in the game. So I feel like they need to do the endgame stuff more.
Really eases my anxiety
Yeah.
that they're adding more endgame content in this.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm very happy with the quality of life updates they're adding to the game. Like I was mentioning this to Lion and now before the stream started, but I personally still prefer Genshin Impact to Honkai Star Rail, but there's definitely a lot of quality of life features that are in Honkai and not in Genshin, which I would prefer to go in that direction as well. But narratively, I think Honkai does things better on average than Genshin does, especially with the character stories. So yeah, they have different strengths and weaknesses.
And I think that makes sense. If one game is an open world game, obviously the moment to moment gameplay, because it has to take the wheel. It's got to be the most important. It's got to be the best part of the game. And so, it makes sense that the narrative would take somewhat of a backseat to that.
Do we get to fight Bailu? Oh, no, we don't get to fight
I
Bailu.
can be honest and say, you know what? Oh my god, we can fight Bailu?
No,
Yo, let me do this event. I'm very, very behind on the story in Genshin. I'm probably gonna.
Oh, that was cool.
Within the next maybe month or two, I'm gonna start working on catching up, because when we start getting Hot Gun Lady and Arlecchino and
We're
stuff
getting
like
Hot
that,
Gun
I
Lady
want to
next
be.
patch.
Oh my god!
The blonde one.
Oh, that's no.
The
Okay, I
blonde
don't
Geo
care.
girl. Yeah.
Oh, I may care. I like Geo characters. But yeah, I want to be ready so that I can do stuff. Because yes.
The Fontaine story has actually been very good, so definitely recommend it.
But yeah, I think that I may try and get back into Genshin a little bit. I know there are a lot of rumors going around that Destiny is going to be it's going to have its next expansion. It's supposed to come out at the end of February, I think. There's a lot of rumors going around that it's going to get delayed to June. So if that happens, the season that's about to start in a couple of weeks is going to be super, 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 super long. And if that's the case, then I'm probably going to take like a solid 2 months off of Destiny. And I'll, use that. I can catch up on, Genshin or, whatever else. If I haven't finished Persona by that time, obviously I'm going to do that. I want to play Cyberpunk. I want to replay Mass Effect. I have a lot of stuff I want to do. So, and then there's other games coming out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be probably no-lifing Gray and Blue Fantasy Relink when it comes out. Which, just saying, it's multiplayer.
Yeah, I can play as Gran, right? Who's
you can.
who's the
you
guy
can. I don't give a shit
that
if you do or
people
not.
always Vane? I think it's like Vaughn or something.
I don't know. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. I know very little about Grand Blue Fantasy other than that Katarina is really hot. And also that I want to play as Siegfried.
Oh, I have to post about the two Bailus on Twitter.
And Siegfried is this, like, imagine bigger, more muscular blade. And you've got that kind of vibe. Thoughts on Destiny 2 being nominated in the Game Awards? Holy shit. Okay, I don't know. I haven't gone through and looked at the nominations for the Game Awards. The one thing that I've seen, literally everyone in the community has talked about it. There's a whole lot of really bad stuff happening at Bungie right now, specifically in relation to Destiny, where I think it was the beginning of last year. Sony was they acquired Bungie as a studio, which was going to be this really big thing. It was going to be really great. They paid $3.6 billion for this, and all that money was going to be sunk into the games, which it was great, right? Well, the problem is that the most recent expansion for Destiny, Lightfall, apparently missed the mark for what they were going for by a very significant margin, and we don't really have any like hard facts or anything like that, as far as the rationale and all the things that went into it. We don't know the workings of the higher ups or whatever, but something like 8% of the workforce at Bungie got laid off like 2 or 3 weeks ago, very very suddenly. They fired a bunch of their community managers. They fired a bunch of art people, designers. They fired the iconic music guy who's been putting out bangers since the very first Destiny game. He's been with them for ages. Let all of these people go. And so that's why there's all these rumors about the game being delayed and stuff like that. And all of that to say, going back to answer your question, one of the things that Destiny was nominated for was Best Community Support, which is really fucking funny to me when they just let go at least 2 of the community managers.
Yeah, it's community support, not staff support.
And in particular, people, they always talk about, Bungie doesn't ever listen to us. Literally, the Destiny community of players, you see the people on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, even some of the people, I'm gonna take a shot at y'all if you're listening right now. Some of the people in the clans that I have been a part of, and possibly am a part of right now. I don't give a fuck if you're watching or not. People, it's super popular within the community to just shit on Bungie and everything that they do. Oh, they're so stupid. I don't know why they do any of these things. There's never much of anything positive to say about the devs and all the stuff that they do, because it's way more popular to just be super negative all the time.
I'm not in the community,
Oh,
and I shit on Destiny, so
it's ultra toxic. It's like if Treevoid was a game dev and we were all playing the game, it could be Treevoid could have made Genshin Impact, and all we did was sit and bitch about it the whole time. Didn't matter how good the game was.
that is the entirety of the Genshin Impact community. Yes.
Or I need a better example.
Defo. People never shit on Defo.
No, I need a better example. I need it could be literally the greatest game of all time, and it wouldn't matter, because that's the culture that we as a Destiny community have developed, is fuck them or whatever.
I think
sad.
it makes sense that Lightfall sold super shitty, because I was trying to get into Destiny and I played its free trial demo thing, and it sucked ass, and then I bounced the fuck off the game. So make your free experience not shit.
So you'll have to take Treevoid's words with like a bag of salt.
Yeah, 12 hours.
I get where you're
isn't
coming
enough.
from.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from, but when all you do is go to the starting destination and you never go anywhere else. Anyways, the way that the new player stuff is set up is poorly handled. The content is there, but and maybe this is a fair critique. The game doesn't beat you over the head saying, "Hey, go do this, go do this, go do this." it doesn't handhold you. It just kind of sets you loose in the sandbox after a couple of opening missions. It says, go do whatever the fuck you want to do,
Oh, that's how
fuckface.
this works.
And especially they came out with this stupid rank system where it's like, oh, hey, you can visually kind of quantify your progress as a player. Oh man, I'm up to rank 9. Oh man, I'm really getting good at this game. Thumbs up, guys, or whatever. But functionally, it's pretty meaningless. It just means you've played the game a bunch. And when you're a new player, you're like, oh man, I gotta complete all of these objectives, and it makes you think that that's the way that you're going to like progress through the game itself or the story or whatever. It's something that that specifically is something they introduced with Lightfall, and it's pointless and it's poorly executed.
Yeah, it's very poorly executed because that's literally what I was doing to progress through the game.
Like New Light, which is the new player, the little mini campaign and stuff like that. It's really good. I think they did a good job with that. But when you're talking about how, we really want new players to be able to track their progress and blah blah blah, but then you divorce.
I stole this lady's soul.
Holy shit!
Yeah, look,
You
I
soul-stealing
killed that
Gara
kid.
looking motherfucker.
Yeah, look, that kid is dead.
You fed the soul to Yanqing?
Yeah, Yang Xing just murdered everyone. Me and Yang Xing, we're murder pals now. I could finally murder Hobo.
I don't remember why you said Yakuza 7 because I rambled for a really long time, Soraya.
Ooh, boom.
Okay, right. Okay, I don't know enough about Yakuza to be able to make a really solid remark here, but it would be like if they made, what was it, Yakuza 0 or Kiwami 2 or Yakuza 7, but people treated it like it was Yakuza 3 in the present.
What's this? Oh, I can make a post. Hottest scoops.
Treevoid has discovered in-game Twitter.
Yeah.
Tifo sucks.
Look at that. Oh man, I'm gonna get so many subscribers from this. Look at this.
Oh my god.
I
Can we
killed
get them
all
for our
these people.
channel, please?
Yeah.
Can you get them for our real YouTube channel?
Maybe if we posted,
can we worry about that?
Maybe if we posted on X, we would look. I have 17,000 fans.
Oh my god.
All I had to do was kill a child.
I hate it here.
Look, now I'm speaking to another. This is the problem with this event. Half the time you're speaking to possessed children. Why am I speaking to a possessed child right now? I don't understand this event.
Well, the stream is gone for quite a while.
Yeah.
And we'll start wrapping it up before Treevoid kills any more children or talks about how much he wants to do that on stream.
New exorcisms. Okay.
Any final thoughts, Treevoid? Closing thoughts?
No. I think overall, I'm pretty happy with Ho using her now. I am not very excited about the pace that they're releasing content in this game. I definitely think we should have visited Pentaconi by now. I don't really know why they're spinning their wheels for this long. It's not like Genshin. It doesn't take that long to make a new zone, or it shouldn't. And if it's really like the same pacing of Genshin as a new world every year, I think that's not a good sign long term.
Maybe that's where we'll go now. In 1.6
maybe
or whatever.
1.6 will go to Pentaconi. I'm hoping that we go there before 2.0.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling that we will, but we won't wrap up the story. Like it'll be like oh hey, we're gonna leave you on a cliffhanger kind of thing, like they did with the Lofu.
Yeah, maybe. I just want to. I don't want these filler patches. This is our second filler patch in a row now.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of well, that's cool, but let's do this instead.
Yeah.
I don't like interludes for main scenario type things, it's fine if it's one, but when it's, what is this, 3 in a row or something like that?
Yeah, I guess if you count
It's
1.3, then yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, the last time we've had like major story progress has been 1.2. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for me. Yeah, gameplay wise, it's good, but narratively, I'm starting to feel the drain here.
Understandable.
Any last thoughts from you, Lion?
I'm kind of hungry. I haven't eaten today. I take that back.
You should probably
So today was one of my coworkers' birthdays.
Oh yay!
And on Friday of last week, it was one of my other coworkers' birthdays. So I'd been planning on, trying to do something as like a little birthday get together, whatever, to help develop some goodwill and build morale and all of that stuff, because things have been pretty rough around the workplace lately. I talked to my boss about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was okay, we're gonna do this thing, everybody's on board, whatever. I say everybody, it was him. And then I reminded him about it last week, and he was like, oh, okay, cool. He said, oh, he has someone that can make a cake and blah blah blah. I mentioned it on Monday, and it's, oh well, yeah, okay, we'll be sure to do that. I mentioned it yesterday, and it was, oh well, she's busy and she can't make a cake or whatever, and it's like, so it turned into a last minute rush today to set everything up and get everything, and then when it came time to actually finish things up, it was, oh well, I gotta go pick up my kid, so I can't even stay for it, and the supplies that I was supposed to pick up, I'm gonna do like if the bare minimum was, hey, pick up some balloons, which all he had to do is pick up some balloons and some fucking party hats, and we got 3 balloons and no party hats instead. And it's just like, holy shit. And then to top it all off, obviously, anything that we're going to do is going to be at work, during business hours or whatever. Because we're not going to, have people come up on their days off or whatever. That's stupid. The person whose birthday was last week, she had to work today. But today's birthday girl, obviously not at work. And I told her, just come by, like 2, maybe 3 o'clock. She was late to her own fucking birthday party.
Maybe
she rolled in. She rolled in at 4 p.m. And for reference, I go into work super early, and I'm like supposed to be out of there at like 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to stay quite late in order to, make, get everything settled and all that stuff. And then to have all of the work that I put into it, it felt like it was being thrown back in my face. Like, you can't even be bothered to fucking show up on time. What is this bullshit? I don't know. It just, I was very aggravated and dissatisfied with the experience.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's a sign that you should care less.
She didn't even say thank you.
Yeah.
And it was, and we're talking about the person who, it's her birthday today. It's function, for all intents and purposes, it's a party for her.
Yeah.
My coworker whose birthday was on Friday, she was like, oh, we can do a little something. Like she wasn't, I'm not going to say she wasn't super into it. She was just like, I did stuff for my birthday. I'm good with whatever. Mm-hmm. She was more excited about it. She was way more grateful or whatever. Like, she thanked me for everything multiple times. She looks like she was having fun. The whole shit. And it's just, it was frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some people are just not built for it.
But then they want to talk about how they want to feel more appreciated at work, and Why doesn't anyone ever do anything for them? And I'm just like,
You should fire them. Get back at them.
it's irritating. I understand it's your birthday today, but it wasn't like this was a surprise. We discussed this beforehand. All you had to do was show up for 30, maybe 45 minutes. You're done. Boom, you're gone. I got a cake. It was enormous. I did not realize it was going to be that big. And then she didn't even leave any for some of the people that were going to be coming in a little bit later. I just took half the fucking cake home because it ended up being only 4 of us there. The cake was pretty good, but then she just took the whole fucking thing home. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
It's her birthday cake.
Sure, and that makes sense, but when you think about it, where's the consideration for your other coworkers?
Nah, it's her birthday. Fuck them.
When you also factor in didn't even show any appreciation for it, didn't show up even remotely on time.
Her day off?
Yes.
So you're forcing her to come in
Treevoid,
to work on
she
her
knew
birthday.
what time to be there.
Yeah, I know, but you're making her
She
come
knew
in
what
to
time.
work on.
She knew what time.
Yeah, but she's
just
coming
really
in to work.
It's
on
really
her off day.
inconsiderate. No, she's not coming in to work. She's coming in to get free shit.
Yeah, but maybe she didn't want to. Did she say
Oh, no.
yeah, we should do this?
She accepted all the free shit. She 2 months ago said, y'all be sure to do something for me for my birthday, and then kept reminding everyone when her birthday was.
See, that's different.
And all of that shit. Yeah. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. Anyways, that's my final thought is people are really fucking annoying when it comes to trying to, I don't even want to say make them happy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. You should fire her.
It's like moving goalposts the person. It's aggravating. So anyways, that's my final thought. Because, like I said, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today, except for that cake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's how we got on that topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually super irritated. Because now I'm starting to think about how much money I spent on this, and it's pissing me off.
You should get work to reimburse you.
They're not going to reimburse me for shit.
You should fire the person who does the reimbursing, and then make yourself that person.
I'm not that high up the totem pole.
No. You should fire who makes that decision. The solution is to just fire everyone.
I mean, if I had the ability. I've said multiple times, if it were up to me, a lot of the people that work at the company that I work for would not have jobs.
Now you sound like the Destiny fans who complain about the shitty Bungie employees.
Like a lot of them.
Yeah, see, you're doing the Bungie thing.
What am I doing?
You're like, oh, the Bungie fans are always so toxic. They never talk about...
Bungie fans are toxic.
Yeah.
And my coworkers are also ultra toxic.
Yeah. But you're like, oh, they always talk about how shitty Bungie is and all
when I say coworkers, I'm talking about my entire company, not just the place that I'm at. There are a lot of people who are in positions that are far too high paying for the amount of effort and competency that they show for their jobs.
Sorry, I think it's more than 8% of his company that he wants to fire.
Yeah. If it were me, a lot of people wouldn't have. If you can't be bothered to show up for work, more than, I shouldn't have phrased it that way. If outside of you being like super sick or something like that, or some kind of actual circumstance, a mitigating circumstance, if you miss, a day of work every week, that's a problem. If you're missing 2 or 3 days a week, that's a problem. If you can't, I understand, people, they run 5-10 minutes late, cool. If you're late 5 minutes every day, I don't give a shit. If you're late 45 minutes every day, then I do give a shit. If you want to gripe and complain about how, so-and-so, they showed up 10 minutes late this one day, and you're the consistently shows up way later person, you can go fuck yourself. When your actions start interfering with other people, like if you being late causes someone else to have to stay late, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty. And yeah,
Soraya, I
if
would.
you're showing up 45 minutes late, that's
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
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 they should just
yeah.
be fired. Yeah.
And our standards have declined a lot. We've turned into a bare minimum participation effort reward type place where I'm not bitter.
Yeah, as you said, you got to build morale, right? That's why you threw that mean person the birthday party.
Yeah.
Say no more birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what it is. All of this stuff happened today.
Yeah.
Like, I got home from all of this an hour and a half before we started streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm still very
it's very raw.
in my feelings about it, as the kids say.
Yeah.
So I'm just irritated.
No, I'm glad I could give you a chuckle. So.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So all of that being said, go pull for Argenti, folks.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune in.
For Argenti.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so that you don't miss whatever thing that we do next. I know
we know exactly what we're doing next.
Do we?
Yeah, it's Yakuza, or it's Judgment tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But also I'm gonna stream some Persona tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I've decided.
Bonus stream.
Yeah. And then here soon, I think once I finish Persona, I'm either gonna go into what do you call it? Words. I've spoken words at least one time successfully before in my life. Mass Effect or Cyberpunk.
No. Cyberpunk
is like my solo, hey, this is what I do type stream.
Yeah.
So I really like Mass Effect. Mass Effect is my favorite game. So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for stopping by, everyone. Make sure to tune into Lion's Persona stream tomorrow, and Yakuza. Next week, we are back to Star Ocean on the Wednesday time slot. And we'll, again, as we said in the beginning, Honkai streams will be the first week of every new patch moving forward. In theory. Obviously, things could change, but roughly, that's what we're aiming for. Yeah, and that's about it. So thank you for stopping by, everyone. And we will see you all later. Make sure to stay furry, folks, and stay dreaming. Bye-bye.